Hello there! Greetings from Western Australia. We are Guilherme and Barbara Guil, members of the Schoenstatt family branch in Perth.
We're a young family with one son and expecting the others that God has planned for us, slowly developing our own domestic church. We have both been involved in Schoenstatt since our childhood and teenage years, having met when we were part of the Schoenstatt youth in the city of Londrina, south of Brazil.
The Schoenstatt movement of Australia has been presenting a series of talks for the Covenant Day of each month in 2021, and we will continue it by talking about domestic church and education, religious support. This presentation is linked to Paul and Fiona's from last month, being the second part of domestic church and education.
We will focus over religious support. How can we keep our domestic church strong and firm throughout the times, and where to find support to continue going, growing, and developing? Starting from Paul and Fiona's beautiful work and testimonies presented last month about domestic church and education, family as educators, we take note of the quote of Amoris Laetitia Apostolic Exhortation, where we read that within the family, which could be called a domestic church, individuals enter upon an ecclesial experience, that is, an experience of church, of communion among persons.
So we know that this concept of domestic church and persons involved may have many forms. Mom, dad and children, couple, flatmates, sole occupants, in contact with neighbors, all with the common goal of living and proclaiming the gospel. To begin our presentation, we read a passage in the Bible on Proverbs 22:6. Train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it.
In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 1655, we read that Christ chose to be born and grow up in the bosom of the Holy Family of Joseph and Mary. The Church is nothing other than the family of God. From the beginning, the core of the Church was often constituted by those who had become believers together with all their household. When they were converted, they desired that their whole household should also be saved. These families who became believers were islands of Christian life in an unbelieving world.
So we read about the Holy Family in the Catechism. What are the similarities between them and the Christian families? Any relationship with the domestic church?
Well, still from the Catechism, number 1656. In our own time, in a world often alien and even hostile to faith, believing families are of primary importance as centers of living, radiant faith. For this reason, the Second Vatican Council, using an ancient expression, calls the family the Ecclesia Domestica, domestic church. It is in the bosom of the family that parents are, by word and example, the first heralds of faith with regard to their children. They should encourage them in the vocation which is proper to each child, fostering with special care any religious vocation.
So, with our family as a domestic church, how can we find religious support for us to be the first heralds of the faith?
Looking into the early stages of a family, we find in Familiaris Consortium some keys on the preparation for marriage that leads towards this line support. It is observed that more than ever necessary in our times is the preparation of young people for marriage and family life. So the Church must therefore promote better and more intensive programs of marriage preparation in order to eliminate as far as possible the difficulties that many married couples find, establishing and maturing successful marriages.
Interesting. So what does this preparation for marriage involve? And what topics does it cover in general?
It is a continuous process of remote, proximate, and immediate preparation. Especially for Christians, it is a solid spiritual and catechetical formation that will show that marriage is a true vocation and mission. It systems in gaining the basic requisites for well-ordered family life, such as stable work, sufficient financial resources, sensible administration, notions of housekeeping, preparation for the family apostolate, fraternal solidarity, collaboration with other families. Through a deeper knowledge of the mystery of Christ and the Church, of the meaning of grace and of the responsibility of Christian marriage, those preparing for marriage not only receive an intellectual training, but will also feel a desire to enter actively into the ecclesial community.
Okay, quite complete. So we know that formation for families is never ending. In our journey, we have to learn, a lot to learn, to improve, to forgive, and to grow together. How does the church see the families in their participation in the church?
Familiaris Consortio also adds that the family is called upon to develop and grow. Future evangelization depends largely on the domestic church. And for all families, the church will have a word of truth, goodness, understanding, hope, and deep sympathy with their difficulties. The church follows the Christian family on its journey through life.
Yeah, so now more into Schoenstatt. Can we find any special ways to help families to grow and develop from the movement?
To enrich these marriages, foster family prayer, as well as providing an altar for your domestic church, the Schoenstatt movement offers the opportunity of calling Our Lady to dwell in your homes by establishing herself in a home shrine. It is more than just a place dedicated to the Blessed Mother. It turns into a place for offering unique contributions. Everything from schoolwork, business concerns, and household projects, where the family shares a prayer life, a continuous living of the offertory, consecration, and communion together in their own homes. Now I ask you, can you tell us more about your own personal experience in Schoenstatt as a family?
Yeah, so here at home, our little Schoenstatt corner is in the process to be blessed as a home shrine this year. But ever since it has had a central position in our home. Here we pray together, be it the rosary or a quick prayer before leaving for work. We place our offerings and humble requests. We read the Bible in the heavenwards. But most importantly, we try to teach our son to follow us and to do the same. As we progress into Schoenstatt and its unique features, do you recall any advices from Father Cantonese towards religious support?
Yes, Father Cantonese provided much valued advice in this regard. And there is a special talk for families on Mount Schoenstatt in August 1966 about it. He said that anyone who wants to remain religious in the world of today absolutely need three things: the support of pronounced religious community, the support of clear knowledge, and the support of an outstanding personal example. Father said that we must not remain alone. We must have some kind of community somewhere. And today it's more necessary than ever to have support in a religious community. If we really want to stand firm in the modern confusion, we also need the support of clear knowledge. We want to know ourselves better and get to know the whole world of God. But it is not enough that we have clear, reliable knowledge. We must also learn how this clear, renewed, deepened knowledge is to be applied today in a world that's totally different. And we need the support of an outstanding personality who embodies everything. Such are the tasks which the family work has to fulfill. We should give the church ideal personalities who embody the ideal of father and mother, of husband and wife, of a true domestic church.
So yes, I feel that being part of Schoenstatt group, be it a family group or a part of Schoenstatt family, brings us this community support, as well as shared knowledge and access to great personal examples. You can most certainly find these three things in your family group. In addition, did Father Cantonese mention any advices to face everyday challenges?
Yes, and still on that talk from 1966, we hear Father speak about heroic Catholicism. The most important things for us is to begin again to dare the daring things that faith asks of us. Taking risks is an essential part of faith. To what is God calling us? To practice in every area of life the heroism of the divine virtues, of standing in divine light, standing in divine confidence, standing in divine strength. As we hear these beautiful concepts of Schoenstatt family work, can you tell us about your family? Do you belong to a Schoenstatt family group?
So, okay, although we are young, we have been meeting with our Schoenstatt family group for about 4 years here. With this group, we attend Mass together, we pray together, we participate in special Lent and Advent preparation, study Schoenstatt documents as well as the Bible and other Catholic books, and we find each other through friendship between amazing people. Our kids are growing together, developing a similar bond, and many times we engage into fruitful discussions over trivial subjects. Just so we conclude, one final question. Any final advice from Father Cantonese about domestic church and education towards religion support?
Yes. We must become heroes of practical faith in divine providence. First, hear how God calls us. Secondly, answer His call. Everything which happens in our life is a gift of love and an attempt by God to win over our love. And what does it demand from us? The answer of love. This is only possible if we once more become children, heralds and heroes of the three divine virtues: faith, hope, and love. So wake up and wake up one another. We must expand our horizons. Our lives are not just about ourselves. We cannot just stay centered on ourselves. We must give our entire strength for this great mission. Such are the people that God needs today.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for your attention. We hope our simple words may be of great benefit to you. Remember, in the words of Saint Pope John Paul II, the future of the world and the church passes through the family.
We wish you all a blessed Covenant Day, full of graces from the nearest shrine. Good morning, or depending on where you are, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.